We've all hit those rough patches,
Yeah.
in our relationships.
Oh, yeah, for sure.
Doesn't matter if it's with a partner, a friend, family, whatever. Sometimes things just feel a little off.
Yeah, it happens to everyone.
But here's the thing. What if we could actually get those relationships back on track? Like really make them stronger than ever before?
Totally.
So today we're going to dive into some advice about how to mend those little cracks in your relationships and make those bonds even stronger.
You know what I find interesting?
What's that?
So many people just try to pretend like the problems aren't there.
Oh, yeah, totally. Just hope it'll magically go away.
Right. Like if you just ignore it long enough, it'll fix itself. But it's kind of like having a crack in your foundation.
Ooh, I like that.
You know, if you just ignore it, it's only going to get worse. You got to face those issues head on.
That's such a good analogy
Yeah,
because it really is easy to just pretend everything's fine, but that only makes things worse in the long run.
exactly.
So where do we even begin? When things start to fall apart like that, how do we start to fix it?
Well, I think the first step is the simplest one to say, but the hardest one to do.
Okay, lay it on me.
You got to acknowledge that there's a problem. Both people in the relationship have to do it.
Okay.
And it sounds simple, but it's really hard. It means taking a good look in the mirror, being honest with yourself and with each other.
It's kind of like taking responsibility, right? Like saying, okay, yeah, maybe I messed up here, but I'm willing to figure this out.
Exactly. And once you've both done that, then you can start looking for those patterns that might be holding you back. You know what I mean? Those toxic patterns.
I've heard that term before, but I don't know if I totally get it. Can you explain like what that means?
Yeah, sure. It's basically a negative cycle that you and the other person get stuck in. You know, maybe every time you talk about finances, you end up fighting. Or maybe one person always shuts down emotionally whenever there's a conflict.
Oh, yeah, okay.
And these patterns, they just keep repeating. And they are not good.
It's like a bad dance you just keep doing over and over again, even though it's hurting you both.
Exactly. And, awareness is key. So next time you feel that pattern starting, just hit pause.
Okay.
Like literally stop the conversation and say, hey, can we take a break and come back to this when we're both calm?
So just walk away for a minute.
Exactly. And then you can approach the conversation with a clear head. Dr. Gottman, he's a big relationship researcher. He calls this taking a break.
Okay, yeah, that makes sense. But what if we've done all that? We've identified the problem, we're communicating better, but there's still some hurt there, like some lingering resentment.
Right?
How do you rebuild trust after that?
Well, this is where actions speak louder than words. Apology is important, but it's not enough. You have to actually show up for the other person consistently.
Okay, so what would that look like? Like, give me some examples.
Sure. So let's say your partner always feels overwhelmed with chores around the house. So instead of just saying, oh, I'll help you,
Right.
you actually schedule time to do the dishes or fold laundry. You actually follow through.
You're showing that you're actually committed.
Yeah. Yeah, exactly. Or let's say your partner really values spending quality time with you. So you make an effort to plan regular date nights. Even if it's just takeout and a movie on the couch, it's the thought that counts.
So it's about actually following through and showing them you mean what you say.
Exactly. And all of this goes back to good communication.
Yeah.
Which, let's be honest, is easier said than done.
Oh my gosh, tell me about it. I feel like most arguments come from either miscommunication or not saying what we need clearly enough. Any tips on how to do that better?
Well, one thing that can help is to use what we call I statements instead of you statements,
Mm.
So instead of saying, you always leave your clothes on the floor, try something like, I feel frustrated when the room is messy. Can we figure out a system that works for both of us?
Oh, okay. So instead of blaming the other person, you're focusing on your own feelings and then trying to find a solution together.
Yeah, exactly. And just as important is learning how to really listen.
Oh, yeah.
Like really hearing what the other person is saying without interrupting them or getting defensive.
Putting yourself in their shoes, even if you don't totally agree with them.
Yeah, exactly. And this kind of leads us to the whole idea of boundaries, which are super important in any relationship.
I hear people talk about boundaries all the time, but I'm not always sure what they mean. Can you break that down for us? Like, what are they and why are they so important?
Well, boundaries are basically like guidelines.
Okay.
They define what's okay and what's not okay in the relationship.
Okay.
They can be about anything, like personal space, time, how you handle disagreements, or even your emotional needs.
So if I need like an hour every night to myself to just decompress, that's a boundary.
Exactly.
Yeah.
And if you communicate that clearly to your partner, then they know to respect your need for that space.
So it's about creating an environment where both people feel safe and respected.
Exactly. And even with all of this advice, There are going to be times when you just feel stuck.
Oh, for sure.
And that's when it might be a good idea to talk to a professional, like a therapist or a relationship coach.
Oh, yeah, like having a personal trainer, but for your relationship.
Yeah, exactly. They can give you specific tools and strategies to work through whatever challenges you're facing.
That's a great way to think about it.
And it's important to remember that building a healthy relationship is a journey. It takes effort, good communication, and a willingness to grow, both individually and together.
I love that. And before we wrap up, I just wanted to say that if you enjoyed this conversation and you think it could help someone you know, please share it with them.
Well,
And don't forget to follow us for more conversations like this one. We've got tons of great stuff coming up. And for any of our listeners who are divorced women looking to find that healthy, lasting relationship, we have a special resource for you. It's called the Post-Divorce Safety Audit, and it can help you start fresh and create the amazing relationship you deserve. You can find the link in the description.
awesome.
Thanks so much for listening, everyone.
Yeah, thanks for tuning in. We'll see you next time.
Bye.